utilize case studies in real time, kind of in this form. And what I mean by that is, hey, I just left an estimate. The homeowner had called 4 other painters and not a single one of them had called them back. We unfortunately hear about this a lot, and I'm just so thankful that our mission here at Elite Painting is to follow through and do what we say we're going to do and respond and call people back in a timely manner. Welcome back to another episode of the Elite Business Advice Podcast. My name is Chris Moore, the founder of Elite Business Advisors, your host here for the podcast. I hope that you guys enjoyed our Back to Basics series that we just wrapped up. We covered everything about kind of the foundations in running a business, of having a system to accomplish things is a super foundational thing, how to honor your calendar and let that work for you and not against you. My favorite one, which was job costing. If you've listened to this show long enough, over 246 episodes, you know why. And then we wrapped up last week talking about discipline and just the importance that all 4 of those things kind of come together. Job costing was a very tactical one that I just had to add in there, but everything else is kind of a foundational thing in running a business, right? And again, you can have the best advice in the world, but if you don't have a system to accomplish it, you don't know how to time block and use your calendar to your advantage to make sure it gets done, and you don't have the discipline to do it, well then hearing everything I share on this is relatively useless, right? Please keep listening, but figure those things out, right? And so I hope that was helpful for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I wanted to kind of hit on a just super foundational thing as we kicked off the year. But today, what I want to focus on is I want to talk about how do we reevaluate, maybe look at updating, or just make sure it's still solid, your marketing and your sales messaging to connect with your customers or potential customers. I find that a lot of times as business owners, we come up with some really good lingo, we come up with something good that we kind of stick ourselves to, and we just kind of run with it for years and years without really revisiting it or refining it. Okay. And I think as our businesses evolve and grow, as time goes on, and as we have more, feedback on things, sometimes it's good to just revisit that, right? Sometimes we put it on autopilot. It's like, oh yeah, no, this is good. This is our, this is what we say. This is our messaging. This is our tagline. And then you kind of realize 6 years later, we've matured a lot as a business. Maybe it's time to revisit that. Okay. And so I'm going to talk through some actionable steps on how to do this, the thought process behind it. But more importantly, or just as importantly, where and how do you utilize this messaging to speak directly to your consumers' pain points? So I hope it helps. Thanks for plugging in. This is the Elite Business Advice Podcast. I'm going to start this out, and I want you to understand where I'm coming at from this. I kind of said it in the intro, and I started to mention it there. I figured I'd just dive into it as we get into the nuts and bolts of this content here today. This thought process is coming from kind of a recent journey that I've been on the last 90 to 120 days of updating kind of our messaging, our marketing, if you will, our tagline, everything of kind of, when somebody's asked oh, what do you guys do? We want to refine that. Again, in full transparency with you guys, we really, especially early on in this journey, 2021, 22, we really were the company that was get people to 1 million, right? And I still humbly believe that in this industry, we are the best company that exists to get people anywhere along their journey to the $1 million 1.5 mark. Hands down, that will always be a big part of our business. But our business has evolved a lot in the last 3 years, right? With some of the talent we brought on, with the supporting systems and resources and tools that we have for clients. A lot of our clients have continued to grow with us. And so the last, 2 to 3 years, we've really worked with a lot more of the $1 to $3 to $4 million companies, right? And we feel really, well suited to do that. We've got plenty of case studies to back it up. It's been great. But kind of realizing on this journey that just naturally kind of progressed, and now our client split is pretty 50-50. It's 50% under $1 million, 50% over. And again, nothing wrong with that, just our business has evolved. We realized our messaging kind of didn't really reflect that, right? We've kind of been known as the company that can help get people to that $1 million mark. And you guys know, if you've listened, that I'm not all about the $1 million mark. I'm just using that as a benchmark. There's nothing wrong, above or below that. But realizing that the tagline we had of, we help painting contractors treat their business like a business, While that holds true, it really kind of speaks more to that under $1 million crowd more so, right? If you're at $2 million, you're probably treating your business like a business, right? For the most part. I've seen some people fake it to 2 to 2.5 million, but 90% of you guys, if you're at the 1.5 to 2 mark or beyond, you're treating your business like a business, right? So it just maybe doesn't resonate with people. And so we've kind of been on a journey here. We've got some stuff we've landed with, and I'll share that as we go on. And I feel good about it. We're not like 100% married to it. I think this is kind of a big thing that we want to take some time and get some feedback. Like last week at PCA Expo and stuff, which if you guys were there, I hope you had a great time as well. It was an amazing week. That's where I'm coming at with this. So as you think about this, right, whatever you have said, whatever you used for your pain points, for your marketing lingo, when somebody asks you, oh, what do you do, right? It's time to just reevaluate that periodically, right? Every couple of years, something like that. And so I want to just walk through kind of like the process in which, if you want to go down that journey too, again, it's not something you're going to sit down and just figure out in an hour. But here's what I would suggest. And here's kind of what we did. Step one, I would gather feedback from people. What are the pain points that your customers experience working with contractors? Now, who is the best people to get this feedback from? One, your previous customers, right? There's a couple other questions I have coming up here that would be great for that. But reaching out to people that you've got a good relationship with. If you got that customer that's had you guys back 4, 5, 6 times over the last, decade, that's a great person to ask. Ask trusted friends. That's a really good one, right? Anybody that's kind of your target market. If you're a homeowner and you may or may not ever need work done on your house, you are a great person to get feedback on like, what are the pain points? Or more importantly, what is most important in the decision that you would make when selecting a contractor. Okay. And again, I think, try to keep it specific to painting, but I think for the most part for you guys, I think you can kind of put yourself in just an overall contractor mentality with people and even say that, right? Like, hey, just if you're going to make a decision on working with a contractor, like what are you looking for? What's going to help you aid in that decision? And then like, if there's anything specific to painting, feel free to share that too. Right. So I would think through that, right? I would get feedback from people. From your previous clients, why did people choose you over everybody else? That's a really good thing to know, because we want to go reach more people and figure out like, what is that messaging that's worked with people, why they chose you. Let's hone in on that, maybe more on the sales side of that than the marketing side. But again, we want to look at this through all angles. Another one, what builds trust and confidence with the homeowner when it comes to their contractor, right? It's probably communication. Probably you're going to hear professionalism. You're going to hear, don't have to worry about it. Like you're going to just brain dump this on a list. I guess maybe that's a good thing to say to you. Like this isn't a place to tidy it up just yet. You're just going to brain dump all of this stuff, like words, phrases, whatever that is that you can kind of boil that down to. If they give you a paragraph, boil it down to like a few words or a phrase, and just brain dump all this stuff. Even, let it repeat or, put a little tally next to some of it when it does repeat with people. One of the best things that we honestly did was when I was up in Minnesota in January, with Nick and at his winter retreat, that was like a perfect think tank of a room. Like these are all painting contractors. Some of them have had coaches, some of them haven't, some of them are larger, some of them are smaller. And I was just like, hit me, right? Like what are the pain points that you guys deal with? What would make you reach out to a coach? What all these different things, right? What are the action words that would make you want to choose a coach, right? Like, and I had a huge whiteboard and I just had a whole bunch of notes, right? And it was great. And then I got some feedback from our clients, from other friends in the industry and stuff, and kind of put all this together. So, step 2 is then kind of crafting what I would just call like your tagline. There's a book out there that I really like. We actually had him on our podcast probably back in like season 2. I'll never forget recording that. We got like snowstorm. I couldn't go record in studio. I'd do it from home, like terrible audio quality on my end. It was a dumpster fire. But the content was great and I really appreciated his time coming on to do it. But his name's Andrew Gibson. He's actually over in Scotland, or somewhere in the UK. And he wrote a book called What's Your URP? And URP was unique referral point. And he talked in there about like how to kind of craft this message, craft these things, and coming up with like a line that is kind of almost like your 15-second elevator pitch, right? Somebody asks you like, what do you do? If you're a painting company, do you say like, oh, well, here at Elite Painting, we do interior, exterior cabinets, right? Like that is fine, but I would more so hit that from like, we help homeowners transform, their spaces through painting or something. I'm just throwing this out there. We help homeowners have peace of mind with their painting needs or something. I'm totally flying off the seat of my pants. This is why this takes some time. But like something along those lines. Like I like starting that line with "we help blank." Okay. And in the book, he talks about it, and then we talked about it on the podcast a few years back, that if you have this line, okay, and somebody asks you, hey, what do you guys do? Hey, what do you do at Elite Business Advisors? And I tell them, we help painting contractors calm the chaos and gain clarity on their path forward. And if they say, oh, so do you do, I'm going to make something up here, IT consulting, right? Technology consulting. And the answer is no, then if you notice that pattern when you say that, like you're probably not on the right track with what your messaging is. This is why we wanted to get our messaging and then kind of go test it out and get some feedback from it, right? Before we like 100% land on it. And I would encourage you to do the same. And when we used to have we help painting contractors treat your business like a business, like that hit with people. They were like, oh, well, that makes sense, right? Like that's good. They might ask, how do you do that? Or like, what's your structure behind actually helping them? Like that's fine, right? Because then that allows us to dive deeper into a conversation. But if they're like, oh, so you help painting contractors treat their business like a business. So do you do commercial lending for them and help, give them capital? It's like, again, that didn't happen, but that would be an example of like, okay, maybe we're not on the right track here. So think about that. We help. What is your target? What's the pain points that you solve? Right? What's the emotions that you want to have behind this that speak to homeowners in a marketing kind of tagline that makes sense, right? This is something that could go on your website if you want it to. And again, I think it should be kind of marketing and sales focused, right? Again, you're going to say this at maybe networking groups. Like I want to get that down verbatim for us of like when someone asks like, oh, what do you guys do at EBA? Oh, we help painting contractors calm the chaos and gain clarity on their path forward. Again, like that's just kind of verbatim what we want to get down. One thing I want to share with you on this is, and I've had this conversation with people, especially some larger companies, is like this is more focused on a marketing and sales tagline more than maybe like a core value tagline about your company and your company's mission. Okay. And this is where things can get really confusing. And I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer here. I'm sure everybody's going to have a different opinion on that of like, oh, you should only have one purpose statement or one this or one whatever, right? Like I'm kind of focused here in this conversation on marketing and sales of like what might go on your website, what might go on, sales aids and other things I'll share with you here in a minute. But like if you have, something that's more internal for your team, right? Like this is who we are here at Elite Painting. Like that's okay, right? Like you can have something different from this marketing tagline, or you just have one, right? So like don't, I know that might be confusing and I never want to create confusion in an episode like this, but I want you to know like it's okay. It's all about how you use it and how you own it and really what makes sense. I guess that's what I want to say. Like if you feel like having two different things, is just too much, that's okay. Have one, right? If you feel like it's really hard to come up with just one, okay, great. Then you can have kind of your mission and purpose statement of like who you are as a company. And then you can also have your marketing kind of tagline as well, right? And you use this in marketing stuff and you use this when you're talking about your core values and your vision and why your company exists and its purpose. Okay. So again, if you have confusion, reach out. I'll try to help clear that up or think through it more with you specifically. All right. That's the biggest part. The next two steps, and then I'll kind of get into like where and how you're going to use this, is step 3 is you want to craft some pain point symptoms, right? Come up with like the top 5 to 8 pain points from that feedback you got that your customers experience. Okay. Take all of that brain dump, all of that huge list. I mean, you might have 20 or 30 things on there. I think I had at least 20 or 25, and kind of form it down into like, what are the most common, the most impactful, or how does like maybe this one kind of ties up into here, right? That was the game I started playing. I started drawing arrows on this of like, okay, well, like what they said here kind of like the general theme goes up into this one. Oh, and this one kind of also goes up into that one. Okay, so I can get rid of these two, focus on this top one, right? So you're going to organize the feedback. You're going to come up with 5 to 8. What's the top 5 to 8 pain points your customers experience? I know from years of doing this that some of the top things is a lack of communication, right? That is a huge pain point that homeowners hate dealing with contractors. They also, a lack of professionalism, right? Here's a bid on the back of a business card, right? Prep work and cleanup can be a big one, right? Probably more so on the cleanup side, like disrupting their house, right? Again, those are like a few of the top things. Like I always tell everybody, like I built Elite Painting off professionalism and showing up and saying, like doing what we said we were going to do and doing it in the timely manner we promised. That was our whole like problem solving pain point campaign. It was like, I will call you back, I will over communicate, and you will never need to wonder where you're at in our schedule or what's going on with your project. Period. And that's what we sold ourselves on. And we also then followed through on it, which was cool. And then step 4, right? So you got your list of common pain points. You know, like these are the pain points our customers deal with. Step 4, then we're going to craft your solution, right? The best messaging to kind of speak in is pain point and then what's the solution, right? It's great to bring the pain points to fruition. It is really good from an emotional connection when it comes to marketing and sales. We want to connect with people emotionally. It's really good to bring that pain point to life, right? To feel like they resonate with it. They see something on a flyer on your website, they hear you say it, whatever it is, and they're like, oh my gosh, yes. But if we don't talk to them about how you solve that problem or you are not like those contractors, you're missing the point. It's great to bring the problem to life, but then we need to say, like, what's the solution, right? So maybe it's a statement that's like, what if we could do this, right? Or what I really kind of even like even more so is we blank. Like, so here's an example. And you could kind of use this in like a social clip, which I'll talk about here in a second. But this could be like in a video or something, or yeah, I'll just go with this. Here's what I scripted out. We hear a lot of homeowners say that contractors don't communicate well or at all. But here at Elite Painting, we guarantee we'll always respond within 24 business hours, whether it's a question about our estimate or getting your colors to us before your upcoming project. In fact, we almost promise that we'll be so proactive with our communication regarding your project, you won't ever have to wait for a call back from us. Right? That's how you can use this. Now, again, that's more of a paragraph form. Again, I kind of scripted that out for a social or a video or something to highlight somewhere. But that's kind of an example of how you take the problem and the solution, right? The problem is contractors don't communicate. Well, we guarantee or we promise, right? Make a bold statement that we'll always respond within 24 hours, right? This could go on a sales guide, right? Something like that. So we'll talk about that in a second. So I hope that helps, right? Bring the pain point out, connect with them emotionally, and then provide what is the solution on how you solve that problem or you're not like other contractors. And again, I think and make some sort of like a bold statement, or we believe that homeowners should never have to experience, whatever it is. Okay. So let's spend the last few minutes together here. I want to talk about where are we going to use this? Okay. So now that we've talked about it, I've mentioned a few things already. Where are we going to use this at? How are we going to use this in day-to-day application, right? It's great to have all this stuff. If we never use it, again, useless. So a couple places. Number one, website. Website is great place to do this because it's where people are going to get to know you, okay? Websites are really designed for conversion. A lot of people think, and you have to have a website to be able to be found on the internet. I don't know if that's mind-blowing to anybody here. You have to have a website to be able to be found on the internet, to be able to do Google ads and local service ads, all these different things. Okay, but a website is really designed to convert somebody that ends up on your website to a lead. Like if you really think about it, website's not really for advertising. It's a necessary evil to do some forms of advertising, but you don't have to have a website to advertise. But website is where you're going to convert people into a lead that wants to have an estimate for you guys, right? And so it's a great place to have some of those. They might go visit 5 different painting companies, okay? And, on their websites, and they're going to look through this stuff. And if they see these problems, these solutions, who this company is, what pain points they solve for people, and it's all around the customer experience, they're probably more likely to reach out to you than Chuck in a truck that just all their website talks about is their interior painting, their exterior painting, like their kitchen cabinets and, whatever, which is fine. I think there's you need to have those services on there. But I think just as much as that, we need to talk about like what are the pain points that you solve, and then obviously make sure you're backing that up. This is great for social content. Okay. Like if you did this, you would have a ton of content to drip in once or twice a week for like the next 10 to 12 weeks. Okay. And then I would continue to layer it in over time to just keep this front and center with people. What are the pain points, right? Here's some ways you can lay this out in social. Number one, you speak about it, right? Kind of like what I just shared. Like, hey, we hear this a lot. We talk about it. This is our core value, right? Or hey, I just want to come on here real quick. One of our core values is this. We hear this pain point, and this is a big reason why our company's mission exists, is to be a good, reputable contractor that does great work at a great price, but most importantly, serves people well. That's what we believe in. That's kind of what I used to say to Lee Painting for the most part. We want to be a great, we want to provide a good quality product at a good, fair price, but most importantly, we want to give you the experience and serve you the way you deserve, not the way most contractors do. Okay. And that for us was a big one. And so what I would say is like, there's ways you can speak about it. There's ways that your customers can speak in testimonial form about it. Okay. This is a really great thing to do. If you have a customer that had a great experience, really raved about it, would they be willing to get it on video? And then you can kind of use one of these pain points in a customer testimonial video, but let them share about it, right? So maybe, again, I'm going to go back to the communication thing, because that is probably, I would say, almost number one pain point with most homeowners working with contractors based on my experience and what I still hear. So you could say, hey, like, you really raved about this, appreciate it. Would you mind sharing about that, right? And they're like, oh man, like Chris and his team at Elite Painting, they communicated with us thoroughly. They did all this, right? And then you could just put a text overlay on it that just says like, the number one pain point is a lack of communication. Here's what one of our recent customers had to say about how we solved that, right? Just something simple along those lines. Another thing, action shots of you following through on these pain points. Okay. So maybe for you, it is a prep work, right? Thorough prep work, putting floor protection down. Like maybe that's a big thing for you that you're wanting to highlight here. We'll get some action shots of your job sites of the thorough prep work and prepping their house and protecting things and doing all that stuff, right? Like, get some videos, get some action shots. And then again, it can be text. It can be a text overlay on it. It could be a quick slide in the beginning leading into it, something along those lines, right? But focus your content on the problem, the solution. I think another thing that you can do, and this is the last one when it comes to social, utilize case studies in real time, kind of in this form. And what I mean by that is, hey, I just left an estimate. The homeowner had called 4 other painters and not a single one of them had called them back. We unfortunately hear about this a lot, and I'm just so thankful that our mission here at Elite Painting is to follow through and do what we say we're going to do and respond and call people back in a timely manner. Something simple like that. Doesn't have to be hard. But when you're at an estimate, you hear these pain points. You can get the customer on camera if you want, but if nothing else, get your phone out, record a quick video, getting back in your truck, walking around the property, just something. And just be like, man, like, this bothers me. This is why we exist. And the more things like that you can do, the more it's going to connect with people. The last couple ways that you can utilize this is number one, sales aids and leave behinds. right? Why choose us? Have a flyer that's like, why choose us? And talk about these pain points and solutions in there, right? There's a lot of different ways you could do that. List form, boxes for each one, etc. The top 5 pain points we hear from homeowners, and what we believe or how we solve that problem, whatever it is. The other thing that I want to leave you with, having like a 1-pager flyer about your company is a great thing to give away at like home shows. Maybe it's other places. Maybe it's community events, networking events, whatever it is. But going through and just having this all on a 1-pager. Who are we, right? We have one of those for us, and we in there we kind of do try to hit on some of these pain points, and on 1 page front and back it's a little bit hard to squeeze in some testimonials and this and that and everything. But we want to make sure that like when somebody is just getting a little bit of information about us, like we want to put our best foot forward. And we want to highlight those emotions, those pain points, and provide those solutions. So I would encourage you, as I wrap this up, to take some time, think through this. Right? Even if you've been in business for 2 years or 22 years, when's the last time you really stopped and thought about what is the message we're putting out there? And I guarantee you can do a much better job than you have been on it. And if nothing else, maybe you've got the right messaging, you've got the pain points. We just need to organize it in a better way, whether it's on your website, whether it's in your social content. Be intentional with the social content you're putting out. It's easy. Something is better than nothing. But at the end of the day, if we can be a little bit more intentional about it, we can highlight ourselves, and then we can use those videos in so many different ways in the future. That is what's going to help you become a more professionalized company here in 2026. Thanks for plugging into this week's episode. I hope you're able to take a few nuggets away from it to implement into your business. Remember, knowledge without implementation is useless. If you're curious about what we do and how we help painting contractors all over North America, schedule a free business analysis meeting with us at www.elitebusinessadvisors.com. Our entire team of advisors have ran and managed painting companies just like myself and are here to help support you on your journey. We have packages available for contractors at every stage of business, from flying solo and just starting out, all the way to multi-million-dollar businesses. And lastly, if you loved this episode, please leave us a rating and a review. It helps others on the platform find our podcast, and it could be the best blessing that's ever happened to them thanks to you. Thanks for plugging in, and we'll see you back for next week's episode.